I am just going to go through three quick steps and just a little bit of preface on this. I am a big advocate. Like I said, I work with nonprofits around the country, and what we do is often impacted by SEO because of Google Ads grant. So I just see a lot of nonprofits struggle with some of the basics. And so these are three things that almost every client call I hop on is an opportunity. So I just like to focus on the infrastructure. And these are just three easy wins that if you haven't, I'm going to just go through these. One is Google My Business. When was the last time you looked at that page? Maybe aside from a review, responding to a review or something. But this is, it's just an easy tool to make sure it is part of your virtual storefront and making sure that it's updated. Do you have new photos that you need to update? Are the right photos being featured? And then just another tip on this, that again, from an SEO standpoint, is responding to reviews with SEO in mind. So it's great if someone leaves a review. So I'll just an example. I work with the Buddy Holly Hall in Lubbock, Texas, as their fractional chief marketing officer. And when we respond to reviews, it's really important that we acknowledge the review, but also say things. We use the phrase like, thank you for responding. We really, we strive to be the premier concert venue in Lubbock, or presenter, or it's our pleasure to bring concerts live to Lubbock. Those kinds of phrases and words that are important to search. It's just an easy tip. Number two is FAQ page. I am a big fan of these. They're really easy, especially with tools like ChatGPT now. But making sure that do you have an FAQs page, and is it have you thought about it from that customer perspective? What are those questions that you get all the time? And can you answer them on your website? Because at the end of the day, the internet is just a big answer box, and Google in particular. If you feed it the information, it makes it a lot easier. So super easy tip there. I recommend this to all my clients as a best practice. And then the last one is website performance. And if you don't know about this tool, Nicole's going to pull it up, and we're going to look at my website, which is apparently needs to be polished up. So it's very fitting. Please don't think that I don't know what I'm doing. But this is a free, this is from Google for Developers. This is a free site. I'll include the link in the chat. And the reason we ran my company, you just put your website in here. Always start with a home page, but you can do individual pages. So I would check other pages as well. But it just quickly goes through and shows, desktop, where I'm doing much better there. But then the great thing is, you go back to mobile for me, Nicole. And then if you scroll down, it actually tells you what to do. So this is just an overview of where the speed is, performance is an issue. But going down, it actually will tell you. So this is likely, I just have an image that's too big, or we recently put our video on there, so it might be that. So I just need to go through and compress images, making sure that your JavaScript is updated. It gives you these. So you can give this to your web person or your outsourced web person and just have them look at performance. I will say, if your site is below 50 in that score at the top, it's really impacting your search traffic. We'd like to see it above 80 or 90 on a regular basis. So I've got a little work to do this week myself. But those are just three tips of things just that we often forget. We always worry about the branding and the copy and the content and all of that stuff, but it's good to take a step back and look at the infrastructure as well. So those are my three tips.
Great. Caitlin.
Should probably unmute myself. That would be a good idea for starters. Thank you again, Nicole, for having me. I've been really excited to do this today. I want to help you guys turn your click into confidence. And so these are my 3 tips for a better website. All right, so clarity is queen. I always say that content is king, but clarity is queen. really what I mean by this is you have 3 to 5 seconds to communicate who you are and what you offer. If it's not instantly clear, you're losing the attention span. We all have the attention span on the internet nowadays from doom scrolling. The average person sees about 5 to 10,000 ads a day if you're on your phone for more than 3 hours. That's kind of a big deal. So you need to tell visitors exactly what you do right now, and don't expect your team just to understand. Your audience should definitely understand. Your messaging should be simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Just be specific in who you're talking to. Be bold, and don't just try. I know that Todd just told you to use the keywords, which are very important, but don't just fill it with a bunch of fluff. When we do that, it seems overly clever, but it's also confusing when it comes down to that. And so my question to you guys, as far as your clarity goes, is could a stranger land on your website and understand exactly what you do without scrolling? Like, what is the first thing that they see? A fun question that I usually ask people is, if this was a dating profile, what would you be putting on your homepage of the website? What would be the first thing that people would see so they'll swipe right? The second one is designing with intention. So I come from a design background. I have my BFA in graphic design and fine arts. And so, yes, I appreciate the pretty things and the pretty websites in life. Your website's got to reflect your brand's personalities. You should have a branding guide that follows exactly what your colors should be, your fonts, images, layouts. You should have a template for when you hand it off to your website designer, your social media team, whoever you're hiring. They need a guide to represent you the way you want to be represented. Your navigation on your website, it's also got to be simple. When you go to the top, think less is more. Too many options can overwhelm people. I was just on a website yesterday, and it was for a women's networking group that's national. They had like 50 things. I'm not even joking, in their navigation. We don't need to do that. We just need home, about, services, contact, testimonials, FAQ, like Todd was mentioning earlier. And a call to action. So in addition to keeping it simple, make sure that you have a call to action that is repeated. A call to action meaning, when you're guiding your visitor to the next step, what do you want them to do? You've got to kind of reverse engineer your website in a way that doesn't leave your audience guessing. And so an example to use a consistent call to action would be book a consultation. It should be on every scroll of your website. A pro tip would probably be that every page has a specific purpose, and every purpose should lead your audience somewhere specific. And last but not least, you got to make it work for you. Your homepage is the central hub. You've got to think about it like, if you're giving someone a tour of your facility, where do you want them to go? Services, testimonials, your process, your call to action. Use the scroll sections to tell your brand story. Who are you? Who do you serve? How do you do that uniquely? What can your audience do next so they get a great experience from you? And going back to, again, loving what you said, Todd, review your analytics. You got to know, you got to track things. Where are people dropping off? Where are you losing them? What pages perform the best? Are they engaging with your calls to action, or is something not connecting for them? You got to use Google Analytics to see where your users are, see where things are bouncing, and again, use those keywords to improve the visibility on Google. You got to rank what your clients are saying, and you got to know what they're actually looking for. And so if you're not checking your data, you're guessing, and hope really isn't a business plan, is it? That was my mic drop. Thank you.
It's not. So, okay, and I will go through. So there's three things that your website is probably missing, and Caitlin touched on this, and streamlining choices might be missing from your website. So this actually slows down decisions or stops people from making them. It's called Hicks Law, and that's the behavioral science behind why we stop when we see a lot of choices. And that also explains why you spend 45 minutes picking a show on Netflix. But there's a caveat. So Danielle, with St. Louis Symphony, you have so many concerts. Like when you're announcing, like lots of choices bring more interest, and then fewer choices drive decisions. And that's based on a jam experiment that they did where they had people in a grocery store like look at a huge display of jam, and that's how they figured that out. I approach this from for a solution. Approach this from performing arts, but Michael, like fund choices, like what people are fundraising for. But you can also guide them when you have a huge season. You can see here, this is Lyric Opera's website, and they're giving you like, okay, tickets here start at $209, or this show has the best availability. Another thing that I often see is missing from websites is social proof. And that is related to the bandwagon effect. So if you're a new nonprofit or you're pulling together a show that, like the challenging ones that nobody knows about, they're not household names, people are looking for at other people like them to figure out if they should open up their wallet and decide to invest in you. So popularity signals safety. People saying great things about you signals safety and trust, and together they drive action. So a lot of times people are, these are just some solutions, are think, okay, like testimonials and lots of quotes all over the place. But you can start including your audience in content and in landing pages, so pictures of them or like quick quotes. And then another thing is you can also do social proof by quantity. So instead of saying subscribe today, you can say things like join 5,000 subscribers enjoying world-class ballet, and then people are seeing like, oh, there's 5,000 people subscribing, like I want to do it too, and they get on the bandwagon. And the last one is your confirmation page, and that's a great place to connect and engage with your audiences or your donors instead of just giving them a receipt. And this is related to the peak end rule, and that is when people don't remember every detail of an experience. They usually remember the emotional high point and how it ended. So the end of the transaction would be the peak end rule of that part of the journey that someone's taking with you. So it's really a chance to me to start reinforce the relationship and put like a video of an artist saying thank you for buying a ticket, and here's why I'm excited to be a part of this show. Or in the case of a general, not a different cause, one confirmation page that I really liked was by Charity Water, and they have this landing page where they show how their gift makes an impact with a map, and then how many people that they've served in water projects. And that is it.